Load shedding has been suspended for the time being in South Africa. There's a bit of uncertainty on whether or not and when it might start again. The cold weather generally increases the performance of coal-fired power stations, so that has certainly helped the situation. There's also been a significant increase in renewable energy installations, both on a residential and a commercial scale, which has reduced the strain on Eskom's supply. But we're just at the start of winter, and increased heating needs might put us back into a supply deficit. In light of the current uncertainty, there's always a benefit in looking at some of the power backup solutions that are out there, as well as the status of the country in terms of our energy supply and the technology options that are proposed as solutions to our energy issues. My name is Shanley, welcome to my channel. What's the difference between the Ecoflow and Steco power stations? The Ecoflow River 2 Max and the Steco PS-500 both have about 500 watt-hours of battery storage. This means that you can power some LED lights, power your Wi-Fi, keep your laptop charged, power an average-sized television, and even run a fridge for 2 to 3 hours. If you just run your fridge, lights, and laptop, both of these power stations could even carry you through 4 hours of load shedding. These numbers are of course dependent on the specific power consumption of your equipment. Both power stations cost about the same, about 14,000 Rand, with special prices as low as 7,000 Rand for the Ecoflow and 5,500 for the Steco. The Ecoflow has slightly less capacity than the Steco. Both power stations also have a surge power of 100 or 1,000 watts rather. Some electrical appliances need more power to get started than what they need to run continuously, and the surge capacity caters for this. The difference between the two power stations is the charge rate. The Ecoflow can recharge from a plug point within 1 hour. The Steco takes 6 hours. A simple and effective way to have continuous power during extended outages is to combine a power station, like one of these, with a generator. You can use the power station for 2 to 4 hours, then charge it with a generator, then use the power station, then charge it, and so on, all without having to switch off anything essential. With the Ecoflow, you can use it for 2 to 4 hours, then charge it for 1 hour with the generator, then use it for 2 to 4 hours, and charge it again for 1 hour. With the Steco, you will have to run the generator for 6 hours each time, and this of course is noisy and costly. The price difference between the Ecoflow and the Steco is small in comparison to the increased convenience of the Ecoflow. Moving on to Eskom. Eskom has gone quiet on their microgrid rollout plan. A My Broadband article reports that Eskom has gone quiet about their ambitious plan to deploy around 100 microgrids across South Africa by March 2024. They did have some initial success with projects like one in Swartkop Dam in the Northern Cape. That project brought off-grid electricity to 39 previously unpowered households. The microgrids are basically containerized solar PV systems with battery storage. In remote areas, they are far cheaper to set up than expanding the grid to those areas. Now, Eskom highlighted the microgrid's benefits and planned extensive rollouts as part of its Just Energy Transition initiative. They've also received substantial international funding to support these efforts, but they haven't provided any recent updates or detailed cost information. Microgrids are an effective solution for remote and rural electrification. It makes a lot of sense to generate power right there where it's needed, and solar in particular allows for this since the sun shines just about everywhere. However, solar with batteries is not enough. The microgrid needs to include flexible generation to make the system reliable and available during times of low sun. Flexible generation could take the form of diesel generators, hydrogen, or micro gas turbines fueled with natural gas. And this will significantly reduce the likelihood of the microgrid having an outage. Most South Africans believe that Eskom has a monopoly on electricity supply in South Africa. In 2 recent articles, My Broadband stated that a recent amendment to the Electricity Regulation Act has brought about the end of Eskom's 100-year monopoly. What they missed is that Eskom's monopoly ended in 2008. The first article mentions that the amendment to the Act allows for a competitive electricity market where Eskom will be one of many players. It establishes the transmission system operator, which will manage the national grid, balance supply and demand, and facilitate an open electricity market. Former Eskom CEO Andre de Ruyter said that the private sector will largely take over electricity generation from Eskom in the future. Now he's right, but it's already started. The second article states that the amendment will introduce an open market for electricity trading. Large customers will be allowed to purchase power directly from independent power producers, or IPPs, through wheeling agreements. And how this works is that IPPs can feed power into the grid, have a power purchase agreement with an off-taker, and Eskom will credit the off-taker for the electricity that the IPP has fed into the grid. Wheeling allows for better pricing and sourcing of green energy. Now, this isn't new at all. Eskom has allowed independent power producers to wheel power to customers since 2008. Eskom charges the IPP a use of system charge for using the grid to deliver power to the off-taker. They also charge an admin fee for the account credits and reconciliations that they do. Now, two things have changed since 2008 that have made wheeling more prevalent and cost competitive. Firstly, you no longer need a generating license to sell power. There used to be a requirement for all IPPs generating more than 1 megawatt to have a generating license registered with the energy regulator. Then it was changed to 100 megawatt. Now, no one needs a generating license anymore. But even in 2008, you could have applied for a generating license and sold power to anyone on Eskom's grid. Secondly, generating power from wind and solar have become really cheap per kilowatt hour of electricity, far cheaper than generating power from coal and nuclear. So we're seeing more wheeling taking place and customers benefiting from the improved pricing. The amendment to the Act will make the electricity market administratively more efficient, but the market has been an open market since 2008. Looking at alternative energy options, a new report from the Institute for Energy Economics and Financial Analysis questions the usefulness of small modular nuclear reactors for meeting global energy needs. Small modular reactors can power about 30,000 homes. In the past, they seemed like a promising alternative to large reactors. But the report shows that these projects often cost too much. They take too long to build and come with many risks. Examples from around the world show these modular reactors consistently going over budget and taking much longer than expected to complete. The report also says that spending money on small modular reactors would make that money unavailable for renewable energy projects like wind, solar, and battery storage, which are more effective for quickly reducing reliance on fossil fuels. The main message is that renewable energy offers a better and faster solution for our energy needs right now. And Mail and Guardian published an article earlier this year about South African nuclear scientists who are developing mini nuclear reactors to address load shedding and to create a future export industry. Now, my knee-jerk reaction to this was, why would you want to do that if solar, wind, and battery storage have become so cheap and so easy to deploy? This new report demonstrates that exact sentiment. In South Africa, we have more sun and wind than just about everywhere in the world. And capitalizing on these resources will solve our energy issues much sooner and more economically than every other available option. It would also give us a global competitive advantage. We would be the go-to place for cheap green products, and that would certainly improve our exports. Plus, it's far less risky. While nuclear has become safer over the years, people would still rather prefer living next to a solar farm than next to a nuclear reactor. And I think that says a lot. What are your views on the current status of energy in the country? I'd love to know. Please put them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time.